Hi, everyone. I'm Susan McConnell, your LinkedIn for the Reserved Champion. Thanks for joining me. I host a conversation every day at 12, every Tuesday, at 12, with different business owners on different topics to light up my network with actionable ways so you can improve your business, actually, and your life. Today, my guest is Christine McIntyre. She is the Chief Growth Officer at Our Sales Coach. Christine and I have known each other for a long time. Christine has been helping service professionals, business owners, salespeople, and sales managers turn their prospects into clients. Welcome, Christine.
Hi, Susan. How are you?
Good. How are you?
Good. Thanks for having me today. I'm looking forward to
You
it.
are so welcome. And this is obviously a fun topic that you and I discuss quite often. And it's always interesting that people get a lot out of it every time we do it. So this should be great. So, you and I talk about referrals quite a bit.
We do.
And we talk about the fact that people either don't do it right or people are too busy. And so, therefore, the person that they're asking a referral from doesn't get a chance to do it because it's like on that to do list that's 14, 15 items and you never get to it. So,
Yeah.
tell me how you teach people how to get referrals done.
Well, the first thing we talk about is the most important thing in getting a referral is understanding who it is you want a referral to and making sure you make it really easy for the person you're speaking to think of someone they can refer to you. So I know there are a lot of people in different networking groups and they get frustrated because they feel like they're giving referrals and maybe they're not getting them, but they may not really be asking for them the right way. And the right way to ask is to be very specific.
Correct. And what do you mean by specific? Give me the whole rundown on what you actually tell people to do because it's really cool.
Right. So instead of saying, I like to help business owners, do you know any business owners? And that, of course, we all know a lot of business owners. So it's important to be really specific about what kind of business owner. Do you know any business owners who have a company that does computer repair or technology services and works with small to mid-sized companies in or around the South Shore, or in or around the North Shore or West, just get very, very specific. And that's really helpful because if you just say, a business owner who may need help, people are going to sit there and say, let me think about it, or I'll get back to you, and maybe they will, and maybe they won't. So your job is to make it really simple for them to think of someone.
That's great. So you clearly define who in their network you want, and so it might be easier for them to come up with a name.
Right.
Correct. All right. So they've come up with the name, and now they want this person to give you a referral. How do you suggest that they go about doing that piece?
Yeah, just tell them you'll send them an email, and you should have a few email templates for the different kinds of people you want to meet and how you help them. And just send that email off. They can copy and paste it and just say, hey, will you take a call from Susan? She helps people use LinkedIn to generate leads. Um, will you take her call? Just that simple. And you send the email so they don't even have to think about it. They can just copy and paste it into an email and send it off. Make it really, really easy because we're all busy trying to find our own needs, right? So it's not our job to look for referrals for other people. I mean, we come across them, of course, and those are easy. But if you're really looking to meet someone specific, make it easy for the people you're talking to.
Correct. So you template it out. You actually can even write it, and so all they have to do is copy and paste it, and that's excellent advice because people are busy and they don't have time and they have to think about what to say. And if you make it easy, I think you have a better shot of having them actually do it for you.
Yeah, that's right. And if you use a template for your whoever your target market is, there's probably 2 or 3 target markets that you have. You should have a few different templates that should be part of your networking dialogue anyway. So you're really just copying and pasting your networking dialogue into an email or writing it into an email to send to them.
It's excellent. And you know what? Actually, the same thing goes for testimonials as well. If you want to get a testimonial from someone and you don't hear back, I've written them myself, send them to them and say, hey, is this good? Would you mind if I use this as a testimonial? I know you said you would do it, and I know you're really busy, so I figured I'd write up it and see what you think. And I've gotten 2 or 3 testimonials that way. I mean, they've changed a few words here and there, but at least it's like getting them down the road to doing it and not so overwhelming. So
yeah,
it's definitely a great example of it. So I want to go into the other part of referrals, and that's actually giving referrals, getting and giving referrals. You have a great kind of philosophy on getting and giving referrals, and you kind of alluded to it a little bit ago. It's not someone else's job to give you a referral, or it's not my job to find referrals for other people, but yet we both do it.
Sure. Yeah. And one of the great things about being in different groups and having a large network is when you're meeting with potential clients and you're having that meeting and you're asking some questions and you find out that it isn't actually your help that they need. Maybe they need help with marketing or LinkedIn, or maybe they need some a business consultant to come in and help them figure out what they need. If you have a great network, then that's the time you can pass on those referrals. And then you're still helping the person you're talking to by referring them to somebody else, and you're helping your colleagues as well by introducing them to someone who does need their help. That warm introduction is great.
Yeah, I agree. And the one thing I always go to is, it's similar to some of the networking groups out there, is that you have to give referrals, or I get people that I hold a lot of networking meetings for one of my companies, and I had someone who was hesitant to come. She's like, well, I feel guilty because if I come and people give me referrals, then I feel obliged to actually give them referrals. And I've had people in the past tell me they were never going to give me referrals again because I never gave them referrals. And I have my philosophy on it. I want to hear yours first, and then
Yeah, well, the best referrals are the ones, as I said, you come across when you're talking to people and you find out they need help. And, we should always be listening to people, right? And finding out what they need, whether we're at a networking event or in a meeting, so that we understand what they want and we can refer them. But it doesn't always happen. There are some people, it might take 2 years before you have a referral to give them. You just don't know. You never know where those things are going to come from. And I would urge people not to think of it that way. Just to keep your ears open, making sure that you're being helpful to the people within your network and people you speak to and have meetings with. And don't worry about it. Karma. It's Karma Tuesday, right? Isn't that what Deepak Chopra says on the 7 ways to be successful? Tuesday is Karma Day. I think Monday is gift giving, and Tuesday is Karma Day. Make sure you're doing something to help somebody else.
Yeah, it's not that hard. I attend, or I have many one-on-one conversations, and I'm one of those bizarrely wired people, I think, that as I'm talking to someone based on my ADD in my head, I go into who I can introduce them to. And sometimes that's to my detriment, but I usually end up with like 2 or 3 names just by learning about somebody that I could introduce them to, because I may not be able to give them business right away, or they may not be able to give me business right away. But if we can understand what we do, you can refer them to other people, and then you can, in turn, you'll get referrals, like you said, when it's natural and when it's supposed to happen, is kind of how I feel about it.
Yeah, and you're one of those great connectors, Susan. You're one of those people, we like to say it's in their DNA. I can't have a conversation with you without you thinking, oh, you'll say, you know, so and so, you should meet this person, and not only that, you're so nice. Sometimes like the last time, we had a meeting together with someone, which is terrific. It helps everything flow a little more naturally. You've already had a conversation with that person, and it just makes it a little more organic. Yeah, you're
Yeah,
one
I
of those.
actually joined in on the call. I thought that was interesting, and you know why? I have to tell you, this is great because this goes to the coaching that you do, and it's you were talking in LinkedIn messaging, obviously, which is one of my favorite places to be,
Yeah.
and I had been chatting with him, and I actually never asked to meet with him because in my mind I already ruled him out. But I introduced you, and the first thing is let's hop on a call and see how we can network. And I was like, you know what, wake up call. Sometimes you need a coach, or you need people to be in your network that like will question you and will say, have you been trying doing this? Have you been like what's working, what's not? And that's the reason that you have a coach. And I actually was just talking to my partner Tom, who I think just liked this, and I said to him, I said, people have to understand that you're in sales, but if you're in sales and you don't have a sales manager or someone that's guiding and directing you, you always need to find coaching. I just feel as like you're not going like you could be sort of stuck in a rut doing the same things over and not having success, and someone can look at your process or hear what you're doing and make recommendations. What do you think?
Yes, everybody can learn something new, even coaches, right? Everybody. There's always room for improvement. And you do get so entrenched in what you're doing that it takes either pulling back for a little while or having a great colleague to kind of take a look and say, hey, I noticed you're doing this, and a better way to do it might be. So, yeah, that's always helpful.
Yeah, I wish I had started hiring coaches sooner, just because, like I said, it helps you improve yourself and move you to a different level when you can't see what's going on.
Yeah. And you
Um,
never see when you're the one doing it.
True,
Not
so
very
true.
effectively.
Yeah. So you've coached so many small businesses over the years. What is the biggest challenge that most of your clients come to you with?
Yeah, I would say the number one thing that people come into our sales coach with is they're either not doing enough activity, or they're not doing the right activities, or they're spending a lot of time on activities that don't produce results, and they keep doing the same thing over and over, and they're surprised that they're not growing. So that would be the biggest challenge, not knowing which activities are going to be productive for them.
That's so interesting because I was listening to a podcast on Friday and it talked about procrastination. And that actually was, he had a term for the procrastination, but it was that it's doing all those tasks and then feeling like you accomplished something during the day, but yet you're not doing the right tasks to get you to that level that you want to be at, and coming up with those and actually getting them done. I forget, it was like, he had a word for it. It was pretty interesting, but it's truth.
Right,
We
which
all do
is
that.
why CRMs are so great, right? Helping you track what you're doing, and but then the trick is making sure you use that data to find out where you're spending time um, in an unproductive manner and replacing it with something else.
Oh, it's so very true. It's like I said, you have to kind of come up with, and I'm also reading the book, The One Thing, and it's like coming up with the questions around the thing that you're supposed to be doing to, grow your business or improve your life. And it's kind of cool. So my last, I think, question for you, unless you have any, um, what is the one tip that you have that you can help, that you can give to people today that can help them with their sales?
Yeah, I would say probably making sure you're asking the right questions when you're making calls, when you're meeting with people, making sure you're asking the right questions and that you're listening. So you understand what they need. And again, what we were talking about earlier, then if they don't need your help, you know how to help them, who you can refer them to.
Yeah. I don't know if this is possible, but it might be. Give me an idea of like some wrong questions or some right questions. I mean, I know that's kind of hard because every situation is a little different, but um,
Well,
I
one of
think,
the best
yeah,
questions I always think is asking for a little overview. People want to talk about themselves and their business, so you can ask for a little overview. You can throw out a few things that you have encountered in your industry and ask them about it. If those are challenges for them, it's a good sort of jumping off point. And if they're not, you can ask them what is. And so those would be a couple good questions.
yeah, absolutely. And I think that a lot of people don't even get to the problem that there's someone you're talking to someone. So what problems are you having? I mean, I may not be able to solve them, but if I can't, I may be able to find someone that can.
Yeah, and
And uncovering.
you
Yeah,
have to keep asking those questions to find out because when you start off, you're just getting um, what's on the surface. You're not really getting at the crux of what's going on. So you just have to keep asking.
yes, yep, probing questions or diving down deep questions, which is kind of how a few people put it. But that's really cool. And you know what? I think another challenge, and that you probably run into this one too, is a lot of time people will be chatting with people and they don't even ask for the meeting, which is kind of, I had gotten into a rut where I've been talking with a lot of people and I keep forgetting to ask people to meet with me. And it's like sometimes you just kind of chatting away and you forget to ask them to meet.
Right. Yeah.
And it's very interesting. But so like I said, that's why you need a coach. Sometimes you just can't see what you're doing wrong, and that's why you need a coach.
Well,
So
can I ask you a question, Susan?
you sure can.
Sorry. I wanted to ask a question about LinkedIn and referrals. So how are you using LinkedIn? What can you recommend how we use LinkedIn for referrals? Because that is,
Oh yeah,
we get a
that's
lot
great.
of questions about.
Yeah, exactly. I almost do the exact same thing that I do when I'm meeting with someone in person. I will be having a talk with somebody in messaging, and if I get to the point where I guess I feel as though I may not be able to help them, I will say, well, I have a couple people I'd like to introduce you to, and I make all my referrals on LinkedIn because if you go into LinkedIn in the message area, there's a pencil at the top, and if you click it, you can put in more than one name. And so I put the two names in, and I actually craft the referral right from there because it doesn't have to be long, and it doesn't have to be, why. It's just I usually just tell people like I think the both of you should meet, and based off the people that I end up introducing, they know when I do that, I they should meet. And I've gotten so many people business. I found 3 people jobs in the last 2 years. I just talked to a fellow yesterday, and I introduced him to a client of mine, and he's already given him a couple leads. So, and then he's going to be looking out for me. So yeah, you do referrals the same way on LinkedIn. Just do it in your message box. It's real fun, and
Yeah,
it might be a good way to meet with somebody too.
yeah, and I love that you do that too because then you can link with that person right away before you even have the conversation and find out a little more about them, see who you know in common. So, yeah, I love that you do that.
Yeah, it's like I said, you can do, and you don't have to make it difficult. And like I said, if you just think of someone else that you could introduce someone to, we all can grow our networks and find business where we should all find it. Because some people are going to do business with you, and some people are going to do business with me. It's really funny because when I first started out and I met you guys, we sort of did some of the things the same, and we sort of did some different, but yet we found a way to co-compete. There are certain people that are going to want your services, and there's certain people that are going to buy from us for different reasons. And yet there's no scarcity mindset there, and there's the mindset that there's plenty of business for all of us, and that we can help each other by helping people in our similar industries, because it really helps us all look good.
Yes.
Yeah. So on that note, I think we can end this today. We've done a lot. We've given a lot of great advice, and thanks for joining me today. And I put your name in the message area, but how can tell people on the video, because this will be obviously reposted, how can they reach out to you, Christine?
Oh, easy. Christine at oursalescoach.com, or just look for Christine McIntyre on LinkedIn.
Awesome. So make sure to join me every Tuesday at 12 for dangerous conversations about business with Susan. And have a great rest of your afternoon.
Susan, you too. Bye-bye.
Bye, everybody.